Hey guys, welcome back to Salvio 3, and today we're going to be playing Scrap Mechanic. If you don't know what Scrap Mechanic is, essentially it's like an engineering sandbox game where you can build cars and robots and do a bit of automation. You can't really do much automation in this game, but you can do some. And in this video, I am going to show you some of the inventions I've made. They're not really inventions, they're more of just random crap I threw together when I was bored. But you know, it'll give you an idea of what we could do in this game if you guys want to see more of it. Now, this is one of the first cars I ever made in this game, like the first cars I really got into making. You know, it can do all the main features you want a car to do, like thrusters that can shoot you up into the stratosphere, and thrusters that can send you very far into the, you know, that direction. Spud guns that can shoot robots. And then a bunch of these things. And now if we get in it, the first thing you'll notice is that I didn't actually rig any of the wires to work. But your general driving is pretty standard, you know. I don't know if there's much traction, but going over most areas, you should be fine. Because, you know, it has the most standard edition engine one could assume to have. So along with driving, you can do the typical 3 things. Now, firstly, you can go straight up into the air and, you know, do a couple circles and whatnot. And, of course, one of the thrusters I forgot to actually get working. But, you know, that's fine. Because additionally, I think I can take and, you know, flip my car back over by doing that. If I combine the two, I'm essentially slowly going, you know, backwards. I think the third one it just shoots out the, like, spud cannons. Which they do serve a very good purpose, you know, for defending oneself, but, you know. Probably a good car. For the first car, I think it's a good car. To go along with this, thruster situation, at one point I also created this ship that I can't actually get into without using the lift. So, you know, nice work for me, with me just, you know, building this car like I did. This spaceship, I think I called it, it's a spaceship, you know. And here's the shuttle of the spaceship, which I did not align any of the buttons to, like an idiot, so that's cool. Alright, so just out of curiosity, I wired it myself after realizing I broke it before downloading it. So now let's see what the thrusters do. I can tell we're going up. Can't see what on earth we're doing because we're in midair. But oh yeah, see, there's the ground, and here's us. As you can see, we're definitely going up. You want to get out? I'll get out of the spaceship. Bye, spaceship. Have fun up there. Now guys, this is one of the first cars I have been genuinely proud to show to you all. It's a Model T truck Ford truck that I created, giving way too much detail and way too much time and energy towards. This one's, you know, essentially the Model T. I try to make it as accurate, considering all of the things you have to work with in the Model T. And the buttons don't break, so as you can assume, pretty standard engine. I gave a very small engine, you know, to try to keep up with the classy look of the, you know, Model T and its design. The wheels are small, but, you know, you can't get a perfect scale-to-scale design Scrap Mechanic with real cars. Some people have tried, I've seen mods out there, but, you know, I don't really like the idea of using parts that aren't just the blocks and this, but as you can see, this is what it would be like. And I think it's a pretty good car, honestly. Out of all the cars I've made, I like this one. It just feels classy. The aesthetic's nice, you know. It drives over bumps and stuff very well. You know? Here's a marshland area, you know. Looking back, I'm just proud of how this car turned out. This is probably one of the last, like, aesthetically pleasing inventions I've made in this game. Additionally, the doors open up as well as the hood opens up, like in the old Model Ts. Took a bit of time to figure out how to do this, but I think this looks quite nice, you know. You know, this is kind of like the initial design to it. I have all the other blueprints for every step of the way for this thing, but you know, I kind of had to cap it off at that. What does this do? Oh, the lights, of course, the lights. Yeah, I think it looks quite nice. Alright guys, we're going to take a break from general vehicles for a while, or not come back to it at all, and consider some of my more robotic projects. Now, this is my attempt at making a mech suit in the game. It looks semi-functional, but I it have a few problems. Now, for each button that completes a different task on the mech suit. And I'm not completely sure how on earth I got this working, so bear with me. Alright, so apparently, number 1 causes the legs to fold in on themselves. And if I let go of 1, they don't do anything. If I press 2, they move again. And then I just press this one. And then it just does that. Oh, so that's what that does. So essentially they, that was how they're supposed to do, you see? They're, if you see there, that's, what I thought walking was like for robots. That's why I probably will never be a professional engineer. Alright, so I believe that next few, the arms work by pressing this button. No. Well, that presses the arm, but to move this arm, it does that. Actually, hold on. So the significance of this button is in order to raise either of the arms, you have to get high enough off the ground to do so. And then the arm slowly drags up like this. And then, possibly if you wanted to, like, you know, grab something, you would just press 3. And then the arm folds in on itself. Considering the physics of the video game, I don't think this could actually work in any way, shape, or form functionally, but you have to say, it's quite an interesting design. And then, the other 2 buttons do the same thing, as you can assume. They're really just like, you know, it's a mech suit. Functionality, horrible, but you know, I still think it was a pretty good attempt at making a mech suit. Alright guys, so this invention is called the spider. What does the spider do? I suppose I will have to show you all. 1 button does that. The 2nd button does that. And then you fall over. And then the next button does that. 4th does that. So as you can assume, yes, a spider, essentially. Now if I get rid of all of them at once, it actually folds back up on itself. Let's see if I can get it to stand up on its own weight. Alright, I think that was a success. I managed to get it to stay up on its own weight. Granted, the durability is quite odd. You know, I think if you need to get away from, like, enemies in the game, this will probably be a best option. Not really. I need to add 2 more rows on both sides, but you know, it's a spider, so yeah, you know, it's an arachnid. So if I go 4, that happens. If I go 3, you get up even higher off the ground, you know, it's like a little house, you know. No bad guys are gonna get you up there. You're way up in the air now, and you can't, you know, nothing's gonna, you know, it's like a panic machine, I guess, you know. If anyone has claustrophobia to the ground, you can just get way up high really fast with it. I don't know why I was thinking it would happen. They look so stupid. Alright, now this was one of my first attempts at making an actual robot. They hint at making robots all through Scrap Mechanic, but I really want to make some sort of AI, artificial intelligence in the game. I call it the Runner, and I will now show you why. So you see, each of these in here are a set of sensors, and every time it touches the ground, it'll respond by activating in that area. So for eternity, it'll be bouncing around on the surface until it is completely upright. You can generally watch it all day. I called it the Runners, but I suppose I should have called it the Jumper. I think I called it the Jumper actually, not the Runner. Yeah, it's the Jumper. It jumps around. Artificial intelligence, my friends. Don't you love it? This is the perfect amount of artificial intelligence, in my opinion. You know, the stupid kind that I can easily overpower. This is addictive. You just want to watch my creation all day, don't you? Just attempt live. It's trying so hard to figure out what on earth is going on. I forgot to show you all this, but this is one of my earlier attempts at making a a robot. It's, you know, it's supposed to be able to move, but I don't even know if I can get up on to the... Yeah, I can. Yeah, alright, so... I don't know what this button does, but... I think it raises us off the ground a few feet. Yeah, it raises us off the ground a few feet. I'm gonna put it back down. Because I have no clue how I'm supposed to do to get inside of the actual contraption. Because I didn't think that far, like the idiot I am. Hold on, this is a perfect time to incorporate the spider. Let's see if I can get up in the robot using my other stupid contraption. Alright, let's see if this actually helps me out. You know? Alright. Two. Alright. Three. Oh, I think it's four. Huh. And then the final button. Guys, I think I, like, unintentionally solved one of my problems by making another stupid problem. So problem solved. And here is the thing. And yes, of course, the head of the robot is turned sideways because I'm an idiot and I forgot how to design vehicles and how, you know, object permanents work. Let's see if the car doesn't move. The car, I didn't. No, they're there. I think they're there. I don't know what on earth is going on, and I fear what I managed to do. All right, well with that thought, I guess we'll first see. Oh, here we go. It's a button. It's a button, everyone. False alarm. My head is tilted sideways, and the car is going forward. You know, at least the door is in the same direction. You know what I mean? Now, what does 2 do? I mean, 1 do. What does 1 do? Yes. I believe this is incorporated for when the car flips over, or the robot flips over on itself. And 3, essentially, just makes you higher off the ground. Alright, let's just get high off the ground and then incorporate this button. And see where on earth we go. As we can expect, we go in circles. Within a few minutes, the car will be flipped over. This isn't a car. I don't know why I'm calling it a car. Alright. Now let's try to incorporate my second device. So get us back up on our feet. It doesn't work. Alright, apologies for me making these out of order, but I tend to forget about some of my inventions when I'm looking through them. Now, you know, as we have the runner, which is essentially a robot designed to run away from you, jumper, which is essentially a robot designed to jump away from you. I also invented this thing I like to call the tracker, and I'll now show you why it's called that. I deliberately designed the thrusters as high as possible, but because of how scrap mechanics works, occasionally some of your inventions just don't age well with time. Or maybe I'm stupid. I'm probably stupid. Here we go. Alright, see, as long as you're under these censoring areas, you will actually just begin to, like, you know, it'll pick up and then move in that direction. So, I don't know how well these sensors work, but it begins to pick up force quite quickly. And you have to run away from it. Stupid, yes, but, again, I will make robots eventually in scrap mechanic. If you guys want, you know, please like and subscribe if you want me to make more robots on scrap mechanic. Alright guys, I saved this one for last for a reason. Allow me to introduce you to my attempt at creating the USS Enterprise in this, in scrap mechanic. Yes, I tried to build this. No, it doesn't look that fancy, but, you know, bear with me. It does serve some point of work. It does work to some level. Trust me on this one. Now, yeah, I'm just gonna try to give you a guide of how it works, because I'm proud of this. Generally, you don't have any bridge. Well, you have a bridge. That's the closest thing you have to, like, an actual deck. There's no, like, you know, storage area. Essentially, this is just the thruster room. I duplicated this one object 3 times, layered it on top of each other, realized I needed more power, then went upstairs, and I thought I made more thrusters back here, but I think I had to get rid of them because the game was starting to tear the thing apart from the ground up. But anyway, allow me to just show you what one of these thrusters can do, right quick. Okay, it doesn't do much. I don't know why I showed you that. That was embarrassing. Now, if you are a long-distance viewer of my TikTok channel, you may know about some of my work on this project, because I think I showed it to you all and got like 3 views for it. All my hard work, but you know, that's just how stuff like this works. Alright. And now, as you can see, we're in the bridge of the Enterprise. It looks like a little, it looks less like an Enterprise and more like ET, I must admit to you all. But, you know, it's not meant to look like that, so imagine it's actually an Enterprise with really tiny, tiny arms that don't actually lift up above the neck. Whatever. I wish I could zoom out more, you guys, but I do not know how, unfortunately. So, you know, just try to look at it from a distance and imagine what it would look like if I knew how to zoom out. Alright, we're gonna go with 1. I think 1 raises it above the ground a bit. 4 does absolutely nothing. Who the frick knows? 2 does nothing. 3 does nothing. 4 does nothing. 5 does nothing. My hypothesis is that essentially these are all the thrusters. So let me ignite all the engines. Alright, check it out, y'all. Enterprise. It's sweet lord, this is kind of slow. Alright guys, thank goodness I was wrong. I did make a Mark II of this horrifying monolith creature that I'm calling an Enterprise. And it's slightly less miserable looking than the last one. Instead of the other one, now we have all the thrusters. The thrusters are still here. I don't know what this button does, and I'm scared to find out. Oh, hold on. Ah, yes. Very important part of the thing. Now we have to raise it above the ground in order to get proper takeoff. Alright, after recalibrating the direction of the ship, I'll now re-engage this process. Additionally, instead of a staircase, now like a proper Enterprise would, we have an elevator. That takes us up to this level, then you go behind it, walk down a corridor. You can also take the stairs if you'd like. And then go to this one, where you have to take 2 different things to get you all the way up to the top of the bridge, because, you know, that's how it works. And you're led to one place, the new and improved bridge with an elevator. Now, getting into the ship, you can barely see anything because it's so large. I really need to figure out how to expand and minimize things. But, even so, you can essentially see what we're trying to, you know, get across. Now allow me to figure out what on earth I designed. I don't know what that direction that moves in. I don't know what that does. I have no dang clue what this does. Let's press them all at once. And when we do this, it essentially just lifts us upward. For some odd reason. Ah, yes. So I think all the thrusters are activated. We just need to remove this for takeoff. Now that it's dragging across the ground, I shall try to reassess the situation, because I don't remember it being this depressing last time. Ah, the USS Enterprise. Look at it go! Hold on, wait a minute. I forgot to show you one of my favorite things about this. Now, essentially, with this invention, whenever you really are just having a horrible day, and you really need to take your rage out on your stupid freaking invention you made that makes no freaking sense whatsoever because you're stupid, you can always just, you know, drive your problems straight out of this world. Just like so. Oh yes. Nuke. I made a nuclear warhead, essentially is what I've created here. Classic me, you know. Okay, so it started to gain sentience and fly off into the great beyond, so I might not get this over with soon before, you know, it actually leaves this planet. If I could figure out where on earth I put the activation button. Did I put a button that activates this? Of course I didn't. Why would I do that? Why would I do that, huh? No, we put it in the center where we can't get to. You're so freaking smart. Actually, no, okay. You know what? Let's just try figuring this out. Let's just try to figure out what on earth I'm doing. How to accomplish this stupid problem I've invented. Just, you know what? I'm just sad. I'm so sad all my work has gone to nothing. Does that add up with the car? I don't think it does. It might add up with that quarter. You know what? Let's just find out. Let's just find out. Nope, it doesn't. Come on! Yes! Impact was gained. Alright, how can we make just a you know, groundbreaking, you know, world-ending detonation to this horrible attempt at making the U.S. Enterprise? All fandoms would be ashamed of my creation today. And I think the sad thing is, I think people have already done this in Scrap Mechanic. That's what's so worse. It's been done properly before. So this is just an even worse invention, you know? It's got, just, you know, send it out into the great beyond, you know? Essentially just, you know, I like to believe all the people at, you know, NASA, this is exactly how they get rid of all their creations. They just decide to just send it off with a horrible blast. You know? There you go. It's like, actually, I like that, where I was placed. Like, seriously, let's just make sure it does not see anything but pain for the next, like, eternity. I think Scrap Mechanic tried so hard not to turn everything into a weapon, and then people like me have just decided, you know what, screw that noise. We're gonna make this just like. So I'm quite saddened by how this turned out. Just what is this? What is this, me? Let's see if we can get a solid attack. Now, say for instance now, if I just happen to like, if I like, just happen, you know, to like, just take this and just add a bit of here, a bit right here, a bit right here, you know what I mean? A bit right here, you know, a bit right here. Just a bit more, just in the center of this contraption I've created, you know, just place it all over, wherever I see fit, you see. You know, it's like, through here, we'll lure it down into here, maybe in the elevator too, just for good measure. And then we just like, put it almost all throughout the ship. I think the bridge is like stationary, so we might not need to like damage the bridge very well. I'm gonna go into the boiler room and just trigger this to occur, you know, it's like not too much, you know. I think that this would possibly work. If we find out, we find out. And alright, you know, just not too much now. Just enough to see how bad we can really make this machine. Alright. I think this is the solution to all of these problems, as I just said. See? All our problems vanished away in like a few moments. Once again, guys, I appreciate you all watching. You know, I will be doing some other stuff in the future, but you know, I just have to get back into the grind set of making videos. Usually it always combines with like my artistic visions, but we're just gonna, you know what? We're just seeing what happens, you know? I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. Let's try to jump onto this contraption. Oh yeah! We're flying now. We're space cowboys now. You know, it's like, gotta get onto my spaceship, you know? You know, when your spaceship crashes and burns. Oh yeah! No! Let me on! I want to get onto my spaceship! No, it won't let me get onto it. This is a great game you can play with friends. Oh yes, the spaceship that keeps on telling me to leave. For the final time, I thank you all for watching, and if you would like to see more of this game, or want something on the channel, you know, please comment down below. Like the video, and possibly subscribe if you will. You know, get along on a new upcoming channel, that's been upcoming for 3 years now. Whatever. Anyway, it's been Albio3, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.